You cannot partake of the wedding feast of the Lamb unless you take part in spreading his love worldwide. Fighting the urge to respond in arrogance, you had better take up this offer before my boat sails on to more receptive waters. Why should I feel like I'm deep in the heart of enemy territory when I'm supposed to be among friends here? This doesn't feel like home anymore. It has changed too much. It feels too strange and dissimilar to my eyes and ears. Maybe I shouldn't be putting all my eggs into one basket, especially when that basket belongs to somebody else, hoping that I might be able to steal it away into the night. Remembering that girl who played djembe and sang with a choir, who had visited the gold mine areas now abandoned when the rush was on down south. Remember how they tried to lock me up and kept me from her, and then acted like we were all a bunch of friends in the morning. Remember how they tried to persuade me to abandon my dietary beliefs by being forceful with me and mocking me. It didn't work as well as when one pastor simply caused me to use empathy and put myself in the shoes of those I may be introduced to, who have nothing to offer me but a piece of flesh from an animal. Who am I to refuse the gracious offer of my generous host? But what if it's blood, which you say refrain from drinking? In some areas we find ourselves forced to use our own discretion and personal conviction about the right or wrong of something. I don't find scripture affirming or condoning my romantic beliefs, neither do I find any refuting or condemning them, unless you interpret one passage as grooming instead of teaching in a seemingly harmless classroom setting. If only these people knew what I do when thinking in the dark, would they still hang on my every word or pour rivers of theirs in my ears? There's only one way to find out, but I'm not ready to usher my confessions right now. It took me a lifetime to figure out how to please a member of the opposite sex. I'm convinced I'm still getting there, because I stumble and make more mistakes than I find success. I need God to constantly humble my spirit. I have faced humiliation before. My pain just shifts direction. I thought it was gone for good. It had just moved on to another tooth, or maybe I should say gum instead. I dread the outcome of my sins, yet that doesn't seem to stop me from committing them. I have to be blunt about my struggles. If I have no shame or fear, what am I but the mentality of a beast? Where does shyness transition into contempt, completely washing my hands of having anything to do with you, barely hanging on to your truth? Hey, little pale yellow butterfly, where are you heading on this sunny spring afternoon? It shouldn't make me jump so much when somebody is expressing themselves in the form of virtual communication to me. I guess that's what happens when you do and think things that make you feel guilty. When does temptation become sin? When we cross over into agreement with the enemy. That split second that happens less and less, that moment of hesitation that occurs less frequently the more we give in to sin. I guess you can see it changing me. I condemn those who act the same way as me, tossing mythology into this mixed bag of ingredients, not having the technology to read your mind or read you in my dreams. If I was morbidly obese, could I still find a woman to love me? I'm doing a bang-up job with this above-average sized belly. The hardest thing about being human is that there is no such thing as normality. This can be liberating too if you think you don't have to conform to some certain standard, when no two people in this world are crafted exactly alike. I can tell you want to take a hike with me, do what you like with me, have your will and way in me, let me trust and obey you without breaking off suddenly on my own course. Some people act like I am only allowed to have a life if I'm doing exactly what they want every second all the time. I have a rebellious nature, but it can be bent and forced to conform to your will. I should have known better than repeating words I didn't know the meaning of outside of their original context. Street slang is the death of me. Just as soon as I wrap my head around it, somebody moves on and uses it incorrectly often enough for yesterday's weirdness to become tomorrow's norm. Our house looks bigger until you realize that's just a carport, not another open-air, non-walled or ceilinged empty room. I'll be on my grind again, playing with my mind again, wishing I was young and innocent. I get why people see corruption in me, 'cause I broadcast that image of myself for all the world to view far too frequently. I need the good Lord to intervene on my behalf and change other people's impression of me. I know you don't operate on switching their thoughts without their permission. They may not acknowledge they are allowing you entry. Still you invade our psyches. I know I have to face my fears head on. Maybe tonight they can turn into delights instead. Maybe I don't need to have so many reasons to fear. Why am I so recalcitrant when it comes to expressing my passion for the love of my life? Isn't that weird that I shouldn't be more proud of you? That I wouldn't want to scream your name from the rooftops just in case anyone tells me to shut up or close the cup. It's a different experience when I become one of those I'm more commonly used to merely observe. It increases my compassion for those slugging it out, trying to rub two coins together, and at the same time it makes me more eager to contribute towards craftsmanship as opposed to mere begging bowls with no skills offered for entertainment. Perhaps the more compassionate person is the one who demands nothing in return, but I want that product. I'm set on self-destruct. Unless you reprogram my settings in accordance with God's will, you are way too polite to tell me if I bore you to tears, yet cut into my thoughts when my morality strays from the righteous path. Yes, I guess you could say that we are slightly roguish. Will you stick with me through the rough days and the smooth? Can you groove with me? Can you dig my taste in tunes? Can I go back to that first love experience? The moment I first met you, I bet you were savvy enough to tell when I was flirting with hell, acting like a child of heaven. Just a wolf in sheep's clothing, but see how desperately I want to change, to make my love for you more than just mere words. People come at me ready to start swinging intellectual fists. I leave them with a few bricks they placed around their heart, removed from that thick soul wall. I wonder how those marks could have been made. I see a hint of something from before we met land, and then again the dreaded afterwards, beyond the fact of relationships like a bicycle flipped on its handlebars. Did we choose to make you the star of the show, or did we choose to take the glory for our own selves? Did we leave your words sitting on the shelf, or did we take it down, flip it open and let you impact my mind? As it becomes more deeply embedded in my spirit, I could have travelled the same crooked path as my homie given the right opportunity. Thank God for the horrifying outcomes he saved me from, being a bait for taunts and abuse in jail as I am. Who says I have to interact with everyone under the sun? Why can't I just read my Bible and hide from everyone? Who says I have to flap my gums till my lips fall off? What if I just want to hide inside my shell? I know I volunteered and elected to be a part of this trip. Feels like I'm losing my ever so shaky grip held on reality. I couldn't find my sanity. Have you seen it? Perhaps it's somewhere lodged between Genesis and Revelation. There has got to be the perfect scripture for every given situation. Why did I take a little act of kindness the wrong way? Just 'cause she handed me a coconut doesn't mean she wanted to be my babe. And initially I never wanted anything to do with her anyway. She could have been my messenger girl, she could have been my intermediary. Why was I too arrogant to use a go-between? Insistent within myself that it had to be my hands that transferred this precious package into yours. Never mind that I had bought it specifically for that purpose. She never expressed any desire to boogie to that beat. It was far too hard-edged for her. God only knows what became of it. That sweet little compact disc. I wasted my wages to obtain for your sake. Do these adults ever see how the thoughts of their younger siblings are becoming more dark and sinister? They used to actively fight against it. Do they just say this world is dark so you may as well embrace it? Or keep your lips sealed, which amounts to the same thing, because a culture of silence allows evil to thrive and trap more victims. When I looked for you when I couldn't find you, I should have just put it down to experience, because the first mistake was the worst mistake, because it led to even more mistakes. Because the more gifts I brought, the easier it got. It was just like sticking a coin in the slot of a jukebox or a toy robot. Some dudes have no qualms about asking you for cash. I wanted to introduce it to Bangers and Mash. Remember when romance never came into the equation, when people didn't judge me and scoff at my vocation? When computers didn't demand your undisable location, when everybody's thoughts and feelings were taken into careful consideration. Trust me to be one of the only two in bright pink sarongs. Not quite as humiliating as being the only dude in a bright green one, because apparently nobody else got the memo. So far away from me that you never want to have anything, well, about the shade we were supposed to be in. Nobody else got the memo about the shade we were supposed to be in for that party, yo. I can never smother you by loving you too much and paying you too much attention. I could never push you so far away from me that you never want to have anything to do with me. It's beautiful that you don't have to fly on a plane to reach me. All you have to do is speak to me. All I have to do is be open for your voice. Shut out all the distractions of the world. In the silence I can hear you more clearly. I want to cause the voice of the enemy to die in me, not just slumber temporarily. I get pestered around the clock by these festering feelings and emotions. I want to drown them in the ocean, but the suckers grab some scuba gear. trying to make my fair share of tragedy disappear. Gravity keeps bringing me down again. I don't want evil to come to my town again. I need all the poison in me to be bled out. I don't want all my dirty thoughts and deeds to get rid of before your great white throne's judgment seat. I trudge this lonely street, knowing you have a precious pearl waiting for me, who catches bullets between her teeth. She doesn't have to be a gangster or the original prankster to impress me. She knows how to soothe my wounded soul when life gets just stresses me. It's such a blessing to be in her company, even if it's just like I'm peering at her from the outside of a window always. Lord, could you please make it happen so there's nobody else standing in the way of her being with me? Could you shrink me down in age or size? Perhaps you could rest your head in my lap. When the world makes you exhausted, we should just let love flow naturally, honey. We don't have to force it, like I did in the ugly past. I'm gonna give you time to make up your mind about me. I'm gonna treat you a little more carefully and sweetly, but I refuse to be discreet about my adoration of your heart. What sets us apart from the world is our love for God. I know it's more than just a joke to you, even though some of your friends can't see His beauty in you. Nothing silicone or plastic about you, my real deal honey boo. I think you probably figured out by now I've got a thing for you. I've been thinking of you all day long, dreaming of you as my boo. Hope you don't shoot through on me. See my fears and paranoia take me over too easily. I'm saving all my hearts for you, acting like you belong to me. You can track my progress and see if I deliver on my promises, or if my words are as empty as the water tank in the heat of summer drought. When someone left the tap on and the dogs are busy guzzling under its iron lip. Imagine the two of us, hip to hip, lip to lip. Did I let it slip that I'm into you in a major way? Promise to keep it zip regarding any secrets you happen to share with me. Let's be beige just for a day, and then if it works, and I'm not a jerk, maybe we could try a week, then a month, a year, a decade, till suddenly half a century fades, and we find ourselves just as in love with each other as the day when we first met. Can we take it in baby steps? Can we get used to the idea of us? Have something to discuss, or a reason to hold on every second of the day, till when we've no longer got useful lungs? I would really like to know what caused the teacher to hurt your friend's feelings, and why did you feel the urge that you absolutely had to defend them? I don't know what went down. I presume some kind of ruckus. Did you keep your pain to yourself, or did you let it out and scream loud enough for the whole country to hear? Yes, my dear, you were engineered for a definite function. My ego at the junction. I'm following your unction, compunction. It's more useful if it arrives prior to the fact of my downfall than as an immediate result, an aftershock beyond the aftermath of our internal combustion. The traffic is congested. Something I digested is messing with my system. What did I expect would happen? Dip and dive and groove to the rhythm. I don't see myself as being with anyone else but you. And that's a problem for me, because you don't feel the same way too. If you did, I wouldn't be doing this right now. We would be talking about our days. We might be giving Jesus praise for getting us through all this ruckus, all the nasty comments that got thrown our way, that slide off us like water from a duck's back, bouncing like tennis balls off a wall, because nothing can come between us and our love except us. If we are determined in our hearts to succeed, we surely will. It gives me chills to think of how thrilled I get in anticipation of your company, probably because I saw you floating in the sea. That's why I pictured you all over me like a bridge to my body. I know it's not good to be this obsessed. I'm acting like a man possessed, wondering exactly what will happen to you next. I wish you would have a calm and peaceful day and didn't get into any fights or domestic disturbances. For the sake of your bones, avoiding getting broken, and the redemption of your glorious reputation. I don't think the choices you make in relationships are healthy, only because none of them are ever me. You make me glad I didn't spend any more than I did on you. I get why you wouldn't want to talk to anyone after this day. It must be horrible for you to see your friend get taken down a peg or two, get treated like a wild animal, only good for taming and locking up in cages, instead of celebrating the furious beauty of her. Why is it that your body has to suffer? I know it feels like part of your heart is being torn because you were so close like that. Weird how all of a sudden it can feel like the world has turned on you and nobody has stuck around to fight in your corner. I hope it wasn't my eager beaver attitude that cost me that further conversation with you. If you didn't want to chill, you should have just said. Rather than building my hopes up for nothing, only to send them crashing like miniature building blocks to the carpet floor. I never see flaws in you, only perfection. I wish you would know that all that I want from you is just to be living in eternal happiness and tranquility. Please talk to me if you feel angry. I wish I could get to you before it's too late. Before you do something you regret again. I wish I could help you to overcome this problem. My only one is you are my constant addiction. So what else is new? What's going on with you? Why have you gone so quiet on me all of a sudden? Did that other conversation you had to have go on a little bit longer than planned? I don't mind if you're a busy bee. I'm sure there's a perfectly rational, reasonable explanation why you weren't available to talk to me. Other than that, I'm a creep who robs you of your beauty sleep on a school night when you should be studying, on a beautiful night like tonight, when the sky is full of stars singing just for you, darling. Could we dance in the moonlight together on opposite sides of the ocean? Stretch our hands out through the computer, touch through cybernetic means. If only you could jump through my screen, say what you mean. I won't treat you like a cranky goat. I drank in the beauty of your throat, with my eyes intoxicated by your irises so glossy and brown. Why couldn't you come to my town? I felt like I'd arrived in heaven when I first saw you smile. I wish I knew how to help you, how to prevent an accident before it starts, how to teach you coping mechanisms so you never blow your top in front of everyone again. I know what it's like to feel like a time bomb ticking ready to explode. I will meet you further down the road. I will help you carry that extra heavy load. Not because I don't think you have the muscle structure, but because that's the only way I know to show you all my love, to demonstrate for sure I'm not all talk. I wonder if you got beaten black and blue and had your face rubbed in mud. Was there any clawing of the eyes out involved? Did you leave them reeling still, begging for their blood? We could be the perfect match if only you bothered to give me a chance. We could start a forest fire together. Spark the light, let me do you right. Please be sincere. I aim always to do the right thing by you. If you don't come through for me, I refuse to buy you dinner, yet alone give you my house keys. And you know, I'm not gonna let you, I'm not gonna ever let you walk. I refuse. Uh, I, I'm not ever gonna. I'm not gonna ever let you walk home alone from school again in pitch black darkness. Could you straighten me out when my mind seems a little bit confused about exactly what it wants? I've transcended my guilt associated with you, and I'm now closer to dependence. It takes a lot of conviction to find a woman willing to take a dude like me on. Echinacea mixed with pugnaciousness. Let me demonstrate my love for you, by reserving the best seat in the house for you. If I was you, I would probably have documented the shortcomings of the teacher and written a stern letter to the principal. I would have insulted them without cussing, and leave myself open for all sorts of libelous discussion. I'm not asking for the world to approve of my heart of licentiousness. Plenty of people want the benefits of God's goodness without the unavoidable requirement of obedience. If only I knew how to drive a wedge between you and him without looking like a tool of the enemy. Perhaps the bourgeoisie isn't responsible this time around. What do you suppose I do with my life apart from getting back at me? I feel like smashing my face with a hammer for not being able to provide you with a life of glitz and glamour. Your messages are jammed, they just go in one ear and out the other. Why must we always be searching for another soul to love apart from the ones we are already overtly familiar with? We have to quit swapping partners as regularly as clockwork, as if that's gonna help your sanity. Unwilling, if not able, to procure all the things that you demand of me. Somebody is not a good friend if they cause you to do the wrong thing. A potential candidate for your heart should be able to engage you on an emotional, physical, and spiritual level. You should be able to laugh and cry together. You shouldn't be mocking when one or the other of you has shopping trolley fever. I want to put my life to good use. It is most productive when utilized in the service of you. Just imagining that magic mouth of yours on mine, celebrating Multicultural Month by fondling females in the sunshine. What's a great beauty like you doing in a place like this? These suburbs are not known for the delicious, delectable inhabitants. This is not where all those who are in the media's view classified as the beautiful people live. Did I need a lesson in humility? Taking your agility like a cat scaling walls with her tail. When I'm past it, I will still love you passing over me. When I decide that you and I are peeps, I need you to know, regardless of circumstances, my heart is for keeps. so keep it from falling asleep. Will you leap over that tree for me? I know this mountain's too steep for you to possibly bear. Sprinkle me with rainbows if you dare. Push to kill my tiredness, wondering what I'm living for if not for you. Hope my only reason for being alive hasn't gone and flown directly to the moon. Please do. I know that we were going to have a battle on our hands if we ever decided to go public. Secrets are like our privates. They shouldn't be revealed outside our bedroom to anyone but our marriage partner. I get myself all hyped up and psyched up for nothing. It's just as well for you I'm not the bitter, slow to forgive cranky type. I know there is a job waiting for me around every corner. I'm not talking about the kind that pays. We are not always the personality picture that others make of us. Please don't ever give me up like so many others have done before. Toss me down the bottom of an abandoned mine shaft. I don't need the lions, I just die of boredom. If you don't want to have anything to do with me, please just say so. I'm guessing there's a part of you that wants me to explain everything to you. The rest of you just wants to stay in your blissed out mood, staring into the beady little eyes of my mouth as if it's gonna change its mind. Little sweetheart, all I get confused, for all the world is trying to trap us like drops of sweat gathered underneath my wristbands. I get wistful in the thought of you, lured by your zany ways of being yourself. An illustrated history of woes that keep us on our toes. My concerns are petty. Tear up my brains for confetti. We were chilling on the jetty. I could make you veer away from me, but my conscience decides on the seats. I will race you back to your car. Pull you closer in the dark, lost your keys and you couldn't remember where you parked. So God destroyed that illusion for you if the world tells you to stay away from me. I hope you won't listen to the world. If I don't make it through this day without getting into trouble with the law, I hope that God will still make a way for the two of us to be together someday. I have to keep on holding on to that dream, hoping that one day I might see your sweet angelic face again. Right now, I'm disconnected from the world, 'cause the world just does me damage when I try to interact with it, with exception to your fine, beautiful self, of course. I just want to hide away from the world, 'cause the world isn't very trustworthy right now. I can't rely on it. I can only count on God, my family, and a small circle of friends who see the innocent child buried deep within the guilty monster known as me. I don't flaunt my sins in people's faces, 'cause I'm proud of them. I confront my issues with fear and trembling, turn to my God to defeat the enemy, this flood of ungodliness that makes me afraid and threatens to drown me. Just when I thought I had the biggest reason to smile, when I was sitting on top of the world, something comes along and hits me like a bus when I walk suddenly out in front of it. I don't want the cops or my folks to come down hard on me, like a ton of bricks tumbling on top of me. I've sacrificed far too much sleep trying to figure out why it is I make these stupid decisions. You are the only one I don't regret. You are the only one I can't forget. No matter how much time passes, I was just being polite with those other chicks. I could easily give them a flick, but never you, for your face is the one that haunts me the most and daunts me when I think. No matter how much wealth I flaunt in front of your face, I can never get you to love me by buying your affection with money. Once you cast your sweet gaze in my direction, I just want to look at your eyes blazing with wonder forever. I just want to get lost in this magical moment with you and forget about the world and all its troubles. I just want to be wed to you, stay in bed with you all day and all night long. I want to shelter you and protect you from all the troubles of this world. I feel like a mother bird does towards its baby birds concerning you. I want to protect you from all the harm and evil of this world. I want to fight your battles for you. I want to pull all those bullies away from you. I want to stick you in a safe place where you are out of reach of them, where they can no longer harm you or anyone you love. You know how desperately I need you right now. I want you to dance on my lap, to take a chance on me. Perhaps this world might be collapsing all around me, but still I cling to you, my sweet love, my only hope besides Jesus. And this world is full of nightmares come to life. I find a safer place inside my dreams. I don't want to deal with the real world, just shelter me in my little bubble right now. Away from all the troubles of the world, I will come to your aid on the double. I will do whatever it takes to please you. Let me squeeze some lemons and add some sugar to them for you. Stir it up with a runtable spoon. It's obvious what I want to do with you and for you. I won't worship and adore you, 'cause that glory belongs to God, Jesus alone. But your beauty turns my lips towards praising him more. You make me so grateful to God. You are part of my life, even if I never get to call you wife. 'Cause can I still call you mine in some other way? Can we have a soul connection that lasts throughout the ages? can we be forever linked in mind and spirit, even if our bodies never mingle or cause each other tingles from physical contact? Can our hearts remain forever tangled in the deepest of affection that we never emit in the daylight until the time is right? I can't wait to hold my love up in the sun for all the world to see how much you mean to me. I didn't heed those early warnings. I just plugged my fingers in my ears and ignored them. I let myself take the plunge, cascading into you not wanting to be expunged. Yet if my identity gets swallowed inside yours, that can only be a good thing. I'd be most grateful for. My tears pour out over the fact we might possibly never be able to contact each other again. I am hidden from you for your own protection. I am hidden from you. Watch me disappear behind those clouds. Your perfect love casts out all fear as I sob and tear my eyes out. I am that foul fiend lurking amongst the cemetery. They keep me in chains so I won't harm myself or anyone else. They straitjacket me to keep me out the vision of society. I'm not usually this quiet or contemplative. I need to change the way I relate to teenage girls on the wrong side of jailbait. Follow the trail of this little snail, leaving a slimy path behind me. I will curl up tight within my shell. I hide away from the light that's way too bright. It hurts and blinds me. My second cousin says don't stand on ceremony when we are about to sit down to munch. I don't want to poke my head out the window for fear of French teeth trying to crunch me. Crack open my head. Try to avoid burrowing deep inside of it. I was already paranoid and restless before this day. I'm not going to let the aspersions they are casting on their perverted version of the truth get the best of me. It's ordinary for criminals to cling to some fragile fragments of their sanity by attempting to vindicate themselves in the eyes of their oppressors. They will appeal to a higher authority for clemency. They will beg before God's mercy seat, clinging to the horns of their altar. God help me when I falter. I might be denied the chance to live out my dreams. I might inadvertently find myself involved in prison ministry on the wrong side of those jail cell bars. Just leave me here to rot and die, why don't you? I'm too self-absorbed for my own good. I have brainwashed myself into seeing my criminal activity as innocent by comparing myself to others further down my own personal scale of depravity than me. Though I know in God's eyes, stealing a loaf of bread is just as bad as fiddling with kitties. Was that ancient tick of approval just bloodworms to bait the fish? It's only a blessing to be persecuted if it's for the sake of righteousness, not as a just result of my own wicked behavior. My soul sorely needs a savior. Why would anybody love me? Why could anybody love me? They would always have to be on their guard just in case I slip up. Why does life have to be so hard? You may find yourself attracted to gangsters. Would the danger imposed by getting involved with me be like a dangling carrot to an eager bunny? Part of me wants to continue down this path. Part of me wants to refrain from interacting with the world outside my window entirely. I wouldn't blame you if you decided to hide from me. Alert and warn your relatives when you see me coming. Tell them to make sure they've got bullets in their shotguns and training in how to fire them. I find myself in a disrepaired mental state. I am struggling to comprehend how I could have gotten my mind bundled up in this unwholesome mess, while others who do things that are wrong in the sight of our Alpha and Omega walk around in the daylight with impunity. I am penalized and punished. Why? What is it about my crimes that single me out for the greatest amount of scorn and suspicion heaped upon my head? I didn't fear people's necks swiveling my way yesterday. Oh, how I long for the sweet, ignorant innocence of yesterday. Before my friend taught me how to connect with someone that lives at the top of my country or further away, overseas, without leaving the luxury of my downtown apartment. Though I may be inclined to regret receiving his lesson, still I'm grateful to God for the friendships computers have enabled me to have. Though I think with letters, perhaps I would think more before I speak. There's still something more special about receiving them in my letterbox. Why does every mode of transportation give me the heebie-jeebies these days? Why does every conversation make me put my guard up in case it leads to altercations? I can't trust my own family not to turn me in, and I know it wouldn't be the right thing for them to do anyway, because I need to learn a lesson on how to behave. Stop acting like I'm living that old man who's supposed to still be buried in the grave. I haven't shown the most grace or mercy towards people in the past. I have judged people and treated them like criminals, written them off, being their jury and executioner as well, certain in my heart there was no way they could ever possibly change. Now I hope they can, because I want there to be hope for me, that these patterns of behaviour will not repeat themselves infinitely. Just get intimate with me, share all your pain and joy with me. I promise not to hurt or disappoint you ever again. I want to be able to read all the books on my shelf before I die, even ones that aren't too healthy for me. Maybe I should skip those ones, but still I found myself unable to resist them, and like a little kid at Christmas I just tear into them anyway. I love that new book smell. It's appealing like a new car upholstery smell, or leather interiors to an eager motor enthusiast. I love to be a part of that great literary family tree, bringing pleasure to people with my words, digging in the treasure trove of my brain. I don't ever want to cause anxiety or misery to permeate from the psyche of anyone ever again as a result of something I have done or said or written down. I don't want my holy crown or righteous inheritance to be stolen away by the impermanent event threatening to sweep me under the waves. This impermanent event threatening to sweep me under the waves? What do you crave? Is it my company or just peace and serenity? You were never dropping any hints that might indicate a desire for anything other than a platonic relationship from me. I have pushed myself so far over the edge of morality that I barely recognize myself when I look in the mirror these days. I remember my workmate having an insatiable appetite for true crime stories. I prefer a little bit of fiction, a few steps removed from the grit of reality, though I don't mind the odd biography, but I don't gravitate towards criminal stories, although I do tend to go for the points of view of the victims rather than the perpetrators. You may think I may more readily identify with one rather than the other. I don't want my life to be put on hold just because of my weakness for flesh such as yours. Although if the world looks at you, they might be a little more understanding towards me. You have crossed one threshold of maturity, others have not. I don't always know where to draw the line, or I know but I deny that the line exists. Still, I find it hard to condemn or criticize others when I find myself in my own binding bondage. What I do isn't who I am. What I believe is what will ultimately help me to push on through this darkness all around me that threatens to engulf me totally. I know why celebrities have to hide their eyes from the glare of an overdose of enthusiasm. I fear the chasm awaits me. The gates of heaven are still open for the likes of me. If I cling to the truth of God's love that persists regardless of my behavior, if only I don't spit in the face of His grace and carry on regardless, torturing my soul up. Far be it for me to mock you when I'm guilty of far worse crimes than mere mistaken identity, like thinking a fat woman's preggers. Lord knows I've done something wrong and I don't know how to undo it. So these guilty thoughts keep pursuing me into my grave, forever haunted by my past, even if I beat these foes that attempt to slap me with criminal charges. I don't want to live like this, constantly watching my back, wondering who might be following me, on edge with paranoia, about to cock up mentally like an egg oozing all over the pavement. This event can either make me worse or make me better. I won't let it make me bitter, cause you know I'm not a quitter. I may have lost my shiny glitter, but still you see gold in my nature. You haven't abandoned me or given up on me yet. I didn't know how to just be friends with teenage girls and get somebody within my own age group interested in me. A decade makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Well, I have at least 3 under my belt. I wonder if I'll live to see another one not stop, or if I'll even want to. This was the year your ministry finished. I can't tell if mine is still at the beginning stages or if it has barely gotten off the ground. I've false started too many times. I've taken the plunge into those dark waters. I've let those gremlins of guilt and shame literally eat me alive. Will they chase me out of my house and home? Will they prevent me from flying? Will I have to wear an ankle bracelet, monitoring my location at all times? Will all my online and offline activities be observed by some human monitor lizard? See me slither along the rocks? Why am I more afraid of the opinions of humans than God? I don't like where my mind is going. Feel like throwing in the towel, but I keep on pursuing you. But I keep on pursuing you relentlessly. Cause you restore me and make me whole like meal bread. I feel you in my head and in my heart. You were always playing a significant part in my life. I can relate to the pain and suffering of others because I've been down that road before. I don't want to be living in ignorance of what's going on in the world. I don't care if I'm trending or if people are googling my name. I don't care if people are approving of me or bigging me up constantly. I just want to wake up in the morning knowing I don't have to duck for cover, hiding in the bushes. Whenever I hear a siren blaring, suddenly the things I thought were important change entirely. I am feeling slightly incomplete, loving somebody who may or may not love me exactly the way I love them, who might not be patient enough to wait for me until the time is ripe to harvest the fruit from the lovely tree of sheep. Do you think that we might be able to unite? Can I untie myself from the notion of my mind being associated with criminality? Surely there's a difference between those who talk about sinning and those who actually do it. I know that intent is considered an act worth pursuing to the full extent of the law, and I wouldn't want a terrorist to be given a second chance to translate their thoughts and intentions into dangerous actions that cause the untimely death of plenty of folks around them. I wasn't intending to enter into a relationship when I first started interacting with you. I just never learned the right way to treat women, or the difference between how you treat fully grown women and how you treat young girls. There are some rules of society I picked up subconsciously. God gave me a conscience, I can't deny I have one. Though I make it known, the more I sin, the easier it becomes to justify my actions. Still, I want to know who I am outside of this sick, sad cycle of behavior. I'm getting off this carousel today. No more carousing or arousing suspicion in my movements. No more the hypocrite who jeopardized his future behind the pulpit as well as beyond it. I should have told the devil to get behind me instead of letting him embrace me. I'm not sure if I can face the eyes of those I love the most and fess up to this miscreant behavior. I was always a misfit, and the devil preyed on that, telling me I don't belong, telling me I'll never find that normal kind of love that others find so easy to slip into. I know some people find love when they are old and crusty, but I don't have to be an ancient mariner before that wonderful miracle of love happens to me again. Is it possible to write a song everybody in the world can relate to? We all need God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Why are my biggest heroes calling it quits? What is pulling them away from His holiness? Why did the poster boys and girls for my generation bring shame to your holy name? Let me never be ashamed of the gospel, even when I'm ashamed of myself. Even though I drag these balls and chains behind me, even when the devil tries to blind me, covering my eyes, preventing me from seeing the light, tricking me into doing anything but call out the name of the only one who is able to save me from these monsters lurking around me. And they say you are better off out of sight and out of mind, where you can't harm nobody, where no one can be damaged by your disturbed mind. Still I know you're a healer, Lord. You can pull all these thorns out my side. You can deal with my Achilles heel. You can help me to make progress even when I start to regress. I thank you for little victories for every week I managed to endure without indulging in my weakness. Even though I was pushed to the edge, I didn't slip into that pit. Those who can't see my journey, those who don't know my mental problems, they don't have the capacity to show compassion towards me. All they see is an easy target, the most predictable villain you could possibly come up with. One with religious leanings who goes off the deep end, attempting to lull himself into a false sense of security. When I die, I know I will be free from these chains. But I know you were capable of liberating me from them before then. What is it about me that pulls me down into the bottom of the sea? I hope you weren't suffering for my sake. I hope I wasn't the reason you were prevented from interacting with your friends. I know that would drive me crazy. I wouldn't be able to abide by those rules. I would employ tactics of skullduggery. I would find other ways to reach them. If I had no other option, I would go back to old school methods of communication. If I had no other choices, just one only, to scribble down my thoughts and send them to you in an envelope. I would hate to think that I'm banned from earning my own money or receiving any benefits from the government. Still I know the Lord is my provision, regardless of whether it comes from elsewhere or not. They are just tools used in His hands to help me. We are pawns in the hands of the grand chess master used to move mountains. There is an element of choice in our existence. I know when we abandon you, still you don't abandon us. Your word gives comfort to me. It is food that fuels my inspiration, giving me strength to carry on. I am trembling more than ever today as the earth tremors, and these ugly rumors cause my psychic chambers to disassemble in front of me. Is the hand that is entrusted with rocking the cradle gently off to sleep the same one that snatches baby from his or her crib? Is this how we protect our former spare ribs? Men and women will always be part of each other, linked by blood and DNA. Blow the trombone, shorty, go one blast my brains away. Let this calamity go running far from me. You can cause my face to wear a smile again. You can keep those dragons from my door. You see how pure I have tried to make myself. You see all my successes and failures. I'm sorry for the times when I have been proud of my criminal activity, when I have only seen the whole world against me, instead of how I hurt you, instead of letting that hurt compel me to turn my heels around and do what's pleasing in your sight, instead of what you find appealing and galling. There is a constant rolling inside of me for domination. You see the struggle in me. I surrender control of my life to you. Lay my sins down at the cross. I don't plan on taking them back again, indulging in the same venomous inducing pattern the following morning. I get this poison out of my mind, Lord. Let me be a shelter for your little ones, not a pit that chews up and spits out their innocence, not like a Venus flytrap does an ant, with its sweet succulent syrupy honey trap. Let me not drown in that pot, feels like I'm losing a plot, but you've still got my back. Some things get worse before they get better, but in the end I know they'll come right, 'cause my life is in your hands, sweet Jesus, take over my life. Was I cruising for a bruising from day one? Will my egotistical nature just cause me to come undone? I need a plumb in the situation, I need your confidence and caution. Let me not proceed with careless actions down criminal paths like I have done in the past. Let me do the things that please you, Lord, even when I'm confused about what exactly that is. Give me clarity and certainty of the role you intend for me to play in the lives of these young individuals who come to me for confident guidance, or just to indulge their senses in my pretty pictures, with no wisdom being desired for the offering. Let me know what you want me to do. Let me go to the earth, sent only for you. I'm living in a waking nightmare, Lord. I need to find peace, but my spirit is so restless and restless. I know all this loneliness isn't good for me, but if I concentrate on your loveliness, I consider that to be productive time. A less destructive way to use the hours of the day, to use them to help somebody instead of hurt somebody. Keeping you always in my focus, in everything I do in life. Though I'm driven to distraction, though I'm prone to temptation, though I find danger in interaction. If my mind is not first purified by your blood, it's true what your word says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, so remove the extra mind from me right now. Lord, I don't want it to belong to me anymore. They say 2 heads are better than 1, but not 2 minds. If you were like a push before you, part of you always wanting to head off in different directions, like Tweedledum and like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the Siamese or conjoined twins of my psyche, always at a crossroads, edging along the hedgerows. I'm a little hedgehog, short and stout, kind of prickly in my nature. Please don't mess with me. I don't want to show any sinister. I don't want to show any sinister side. I just want to abide in your sweet love, Jesus. All the days of my life, I want to live as your bride, sweet Christ, Redeemer of my soul, healer of my diseases and disorders, both physical and mental. Your hedge of protection keeps me from spiritual attack. You stay with me, even when the world turns its back on me. You remain the one true constant. Let me have consistency in my talk and actions. Let me represent you in the best way. Clear this dark mist and brave and heavy fog for me. Let me never ascend to the throne of my own heart again. Let me cause you to remain king through all the stings and the opposition of the enemy that comes my way, despite the fiery darts of the devil being thrown at me. Let fear not be in my dwelling place. Let me live in faith, in hope and love instead, living on your daily bread, giving my spirit life and nourishment. I have fractured up my relations with you. I have chased after sensations that I shouldn't do. Still you are the nutrients, causing growth for this little sapling you tree. I have the word of life that sustains me. Let only your truth emerge from my mouth and mind. Never the lies of the enemy. Let only your sword of truth be appealing to me. It doesn't matter if I'm physically fatter, as long as I'm spiritually fitter and addicted to your word more than the strongest liquor. I do not want to be the kind of dude who delights in evil, but the kind who rejoices in the truth. I want to be your child, not a victim of self-indulgence. Your grace and mercy are abundant to me. You are my cornucopia, the centerpiece of my existence, the reason for my being. I live just for you. You can trust me with an internet connection. You can shift my focus from the things of this world to the things of you. I need to do only what you will. I have given up television and DVDs, except for those which please you. I only desire to do what makes you happy, what I know you would approve of. The more I fill my mind with godly things, the more certain I become that it's possible to bring a smile to your face. I know it's easy for you to do it to me. You have that effect on me. When I spend a long time in your presence, you remove the poison infecting me. When the snake has bitten me, teach me hiddenness in you. In this stillness, speak to me. In these calm and tranquil waters, let the old me be thrown into the furnace and never rise up to the surface to discomfort me again. I know there are certain neighborhoods where I won't be welcome anymore, or at least if I attempt to tread beyond the threshold of one particular door. But even then there is hope for reconciliation. If I acknowledge my sinful misdemeanor for what it is, instead of making excuses for it as some kind of misunderstood love the majority of the world just doesn't get. Because I wouldn't want my kids' minds to be messed around with either. I would probably blow a fuse if I knew that part of me was being placed under that kind of nasty pressure. I feel the pungent stench of self-justification leaving Although I'm still grieving and fearful, my hope in you is stronger than my anxiety and grief. I won't let the past control me any longer, because in you I find my hope and my future. My appetite for destruction is sated. It has been turned to an appetite for creation instead. I am so critical and condemning of those who have risen to the ranks of greatness just because I'm jealous of their talents and abilities. Lord, kill that green-eyed monster that haunts me. Let me not get bogged down in that foolish thinking, but instead rejoice in my brothers and sisters' success, instead of kicking them when they're down and failing. I may be trailing behind others, but you will help me gain momentum and pick up steam. Instead of allowing these painful circumstances to cause me to keep a low profile. Remove the vileness from my nature. Let me not drink of that vile cyanide ever again in my life. I wrestle with suicidal thoughts. I have these tendencies that I never follow through. I know some people would be happier if I just shot myself, but I still believe you've got me here to help the world to know your truth. I have been delivered from the pits of hell, so I don't intend to traverse the path that leads me back there again. I know you offer the free gift of salvation to the whole universe. Assist me with the art of translation of these holy concepts in a culture not literate in your word, removed from this safe environment where loving you is the norm, and all of my opinions, values, and beliefs are shaped and formed by my passion for your holy, wondrous name above all names. You saved my soul from those horrendous flames. You kept those nightmares from the door of my mind. You showed kindness when the rest of the world showed cruelty. You still saw something of goodness in me. You saw potential for growth and change, even when the world had thrown its hands in the air and given up on me, completely abandoning me to the selfish desires of my heart. Keep my mind clean, stop it from getting dirty again. Why aren't the ones who are warping the minds of these kids through the cinema screen being pursued in the courts? Why does all that filth being pumped out by the visual and audio combo sludge machine continue to ooze its slimy self into the hearts and minds of our youth? It's only when I step outside my situation that I see how close I am to being consumed by fire. Change the desires of my heart, Lord, so they fully reflect yours. I plead at your feet. Let me see that golden street of your heavenly home with the eyes of my spirit. I know it requires a switch from the tracks my thought train has been on. It feels like my brain is unraveling like a ball of yarn, asking you to reassemble me again for me in the image of your love. Let me not push you away from me when I'm ashamed to lift my head up high. Let it not be lower beneath the earth forever. I sigh and I cut myself up inside. I slash myself into tiny little bits just so you can stick back together the pieces of the puzzle that's me, and remove those pieces. Change them for other pieces that still fit but look differently. Change the way I see the world around me. Let me not career off the edge of the universe. You bless those who bless me and curse those who curse me. You protect my mind from being harmed by those who despitefully use me. You keep me from being charmed by the traps and tricks of the enemy. I see in the abundance of riches there is temptation to slide into the abyss. More money to play with, more things you can fear losing. I don't need that pile of jewels stretched high from the ground to the heavens. All I really need is somebody to love other than you, my family and homeboys and girls. Let me be your precious pearl. Let me live like you are mine. Your salvation is my pearl of great price. Burn on the fire that old me that doesn't reflect or represent who I am anymore. I keep digging myself into a deeper hole. I could understand if you wouldn't want to save my soul, but I'm glad you still do. So I put my hope and faith in you. I want to be in you, so guilt and condemnation can't touch me. I am convinced of my need for you. Holy Spirit, strengthen and comfort me. When I lack the fuel to continue, there are ways that seem right to a man and ways that lead to death. I don't want to waste my breath. I want to use it for your glory alone. I am more aware than ever. I am just a stone's throw away from those who have been completely forbidden from associating with these young dahlias and tulips. If I am not equipped to handle myself, if I know what I am capable of, help me to use that window of escape, re-educate my mind so I can be removed from even the appearance of evil, even if no evil is actually taking place. Let me not put myself in the way of temptation, seeing how close I can get to the fire without being burned. Let me not take advantage of the good intentions of vulnerable young women who just want to get something off their chest, who need to purge themselves of the silt that filters through their consciences. Let me know how to proceed in an appropriate way. When a young lady gives me a smile, when she starts to pepper me with questions, draws me aside, away from the crowd. I know wives don't come ready-made. They don't arrive in boxes. They don't come with instructions. I can't just magic one out of thin air. I can't just stick her various parts together and breathe her to life. Only you can do that, Lord, like you did before. In the first moments of humanity's existence, you saw the insanity of loneliness, the necessity of companionship, while still stressing the benefits of solitude, replenishing my spirit when I spend this time alone with you, helping me to recharge my batteries and enabling my interactions with the rest of the world to be more godly and wholesome. I know when I'm beaten and defeated, I feel like a miserable worm, just a pulpy bloody mess. Still I gulp your living water, and I know you can replace this heart of faithlessness with one of faithfulness. Remove all trace of that old selfish self-absorbed me. Lead me and guide me every step of the journey. Though my reputation has the potential to be completely ruined, you can redeem it. You go to extreme measures just to display your love for us. I couldn't remember ever dying for the sake of someone I care about. You weren't scouting for my talent. You were looking for me, simply to place it in your hands so you could use it for your glory. Oh. This is the dawning of a brand new day for me. Leaning over the Ordic, see you breathing through this transformed horizon. I wish I could blame all my problems on concussion, but I know responsibility is a topic that has arisen for discussion in our daily dialogues. See, I'm just logging in, Lord, leaning into your love. When I need to do some cleaning out within the closet of my consciousness, you remain close to me, though the world keeps its distance. I don't know what will become of me, how long it will be before I die, so I want to live above reproach, no longer reflecting the mindset of either a cane toad or cockroach. I refuse to let my mind be moved away from the crust. I will focus on you, never on what I have lost, but only on what I have gained by choosing you and putting you first. It is possible to live that godly life with your help, though I feel like I'm all washed up like kelp. When I give you a yelp, even out my almost strangled throat, you heed it immediately. You know exactly what I need to get through this life, to overcome all obstacles in my path, with the help of the Almighty One, the resurrected Son of God. My Elohim, the reign supreme over my life, over my heart. Though I have transgressed more times than I can count, still my success is possible. The whole amount of it is due to you. Any good thing that happens in my life, any reward that gets blown my way, for if my access to heaven was determined by a scale of weights and measures of good and evil, just one criminal act would find me wanting. But your blood and your grace, they pushed past my accusers, and made a way for me to cross that bridge to paradise. You revolutionized the way I see the world, the way I see myself, how I see you as my rescuer, preferring to please you rather than bringing distaste to your mouth. Sick and tired of lukewarm living, plagued by all my doubts and misgivings. Though the enemy attempted to thieve my joy, still your love kept it intact. You conquered all the wicked, filthy foes who covered me from head to toe. You broke their power over me, woke me up to my need for you. Constantly I am grateful for your goodness. For the little birds you made that entertain me in that scarlet blossom tree, appearing to be kissed by divine ruby lips. Don't leave me in the cold, gnashing my teeth. I meant to cause you grief. I wasn't always aware of the harm my actions wreaked. I don't want to reek of that pungent sulphur stench any longer. I only want the fragrance of heaven to emanate from my being. If it means you are my only love, so be it. You are more than enough for me. But you've got to help me with this struggle like I know you do already. I just have to do my part and pay more attention to your gentle whispering voice, urging me to make the right choice instead of the wrong one. You made the sun, moon and stars. You love me just the way I am, but you love me too much to leave me that way. You collect all those sheep like me who have gone astray, and bring them back to the righteous road. You don't allow them to turn into goats. You never give up fighting for us, for our eyes to be open to the truth, so we can see ourselves in the way you see us, as drowning without the knowledge of our need for your constant help to us. Turn on the light of love in me, and let it never go to sleep. Help me to be humble and gentle, a finder of good qualities and character traits in others, instead of one who is a gumshoe known for sniffing up their flaws and faults. Let me not blame others for that which I am responsible for. Spare me from the future I deserve. I know you already have in the light of eternity, but I'm talking about while I'm on this earth. Save me from surrendering my faith in the midst of all this trial and tribulation that comes against me. Let me be as that little innocent child that chases after you and hungers after your truth. There may be some who come along and attempt to spray evil character assassinating statements on my grave, I know that's the case for all of us, but I have made myself especially vulnerable and prone to attack with my careless actions. I didn't always pursue a course of righteous actions, but you help me to find a way out of my stumbling blocks and wickedness. You keep me from tripping up over my own ego. You stop me from losing my self-control. You pick up these shattered shards of me and glue them all back together again. You stitch together the shattered pieces of the tattered quilt that was my life before I met you. Now I'm trying my best to live differently. Put some distance between the old me and the new me. Living a brand new life. It's a grand view in this place of peace. In these green pastures of your joy. There's no looking back for me. I don't wish to return to being that same old boy. I know you were capable of destroying the last remaining elements of criminality in me and replacing them with holiness. You helped me to adopt a brand new attitude, to look on the positive instead of the negative, to see your ability to redeem anyone up to the final exit from this world. Despite my afflictions and contradictions, you still love me, though I cause friction between folks who take my faith seriously and those who treat it as a joke. Let me never more digress from your paths of righteousness. Let my every thought be surrendered to you, submitting them all to your will. A ceasing transmission of these waves that wobble around inside my brain if I don't please you above all else. Let me not paint everybody with the same brush. When some folks try to push me to breaking point, taunting me and teasing me, seizing me by the throat, blocking my progress, causing my hackles to be raised up. Oh, how those crows tackle, but you saw a better me, rising out of the waters, no longer belonging to that old dead me. The ruined city of my soul has been rebuilt in the shape of a cross. My life is centered on you now. My whole outlook has been completely altered. My visage will no longer be downcast, giving all my focus and attention to you. What if my days were truly numbered? Would I live my life any differently? These boulders are crushing me, these hidden burdens in my spirit. Now that the priests have been forced to break their silence, so the reason for my stitched lips remains locked up, knotted in my chest, causing harm to my physical health. I don't think reaching up to my persecutors is going to pull me out of this pit. Only your blood can set me free. Whoa. The ruined city of my soul has been rebuilt in the shape of a cross. My life is centered on you now. My whole outlook has been completely altered. My visage will no longer be downcast, giving all my focus and attention to you. What if my days were truly numbered? Would I live my life any differently? These boulders are crushing me, these hidden burdens in my spirit. Now that the priests have been forced to break their silence, so the reason for my stitched lips remains locked up, knotted in my chest, causing harm to my physical health. I don't think reaching out to my persecutors is going to pull me out of this pit. Only your blood can set me free from the exhausting weight of the world on my shoulder blades. Let me run away from the damage I have caused unscathed. Let that little one heal of the wounds I have caused her in the psychic realm. Let me relate to others differently and better than I have been doing in the past. You carve out the right path for my feet to tread upon. You prepare the road ahead of me. You cut through that thick forest of jungle vines. You help me spot the snakes and scorpions when they come after me, to sting me and prick me with their fangs and fearsome tails. Swinging softly, hitting me with a scorching heat that throbs through my blistered, bruised body. I would rather choke on my own vomit than face another day with this axe hanging over my head, waiting to drop at any moment. But still I know you have atoned for my sins with your holy blood. You have given me your brand new day. You have pointed the way to paradise with your sacrifice on the cross. You caused me to sit on cloud 9. I will love you, Lord, until the end of time. I am done living a life of hypocrisy and double standards. I am no more than that simple-minded fool that couldn't recognize my own filth when it was staring in front of my face. I thought that everything I was doing was golden and glorious. Little did I know others were lurking in the shadows, keeping because of my wrongs, always willing to remind me at any given moment, especially when I'm on a high of holiness. Got to keep you in my thoughts. Don't get caught by the snares of the enemy. I will never stop being in conflict as long as I continue to live and breathe. I worship you with my good deeds and give leads to the other guy with my bad ones. Let me not act like a cad any longer. Turn these horns implanted in my head by others' comments into a halo. Let me not have to lay low for the rest of my days. In anticipation of my comeuppance. You enable me to come up for air. You refuse to let me drown in the depths of my despair. I beat myself up like an egg scrambled in the bowl. Help me to pour water on hot coals, to respond in love when I am pursuing holiness and attempting to reach this lost world who has given up on God and all his gloriousness. Oh Lord, open their eyes to the miracles occurring all around them. Let them not write them off as coincidences. You cause us to increase incrementally in holiness. You bring out your truth in us. You stopped me from popping off the mouth with something I later on regret. I don't need to cause class warfare. I'm in a class of my own. Ever since the day Jehovah showed up, I've been able to act truly grown up, putting away my ways of immaturity. I hate to be like a dog boomeranging back to my vomit brew. That same old sicked up spew. It's sicked up stew. It's a doozy. I'm packing a Uzi of Bible bullets, used to protect my spirit. So I will become a reflection of your heart and purest character. I won't live in denial of the warfare that goes on for my soul, the wrestling occurring within me. I need to pass over to the other side. With you still being my guide, not looking to the left or to the right, but keeping my eyes focused, locked on you, staring straight ahead. My soul is a vagabond one. I've been a Roman for far too long. Take me back to that old rugged cross. Let me not be jogged by the serum of the world, messing with your holy reasoning. In the shadow of this valley I fear no evil thing. For you have given me wings to rise above these circumstances and not be consumed by my old ways of dust and ashes ever again. My spirit mourns for the damage I have allowed to take place in this mind which you made only to glorify and give you praise. What happened to that pure-hearted kid that only desired the things of you? I know we can be me again. It's not this bourbon that contains trace elements of beastliness, but the war raging on between my spirit and my flesh. I need a little time focusing on the captain of my soul ship, keeping me from capsizing. Not just loving you in the form of lip service, but life service. It's hard to remove me from those old mental mindscapes like cancer of this world. In the shadow of this valley I fear no evil thing, for you have given me wings to rise above those circumstances and not be consumed by my old ways of dust and ashes ever again. My spirit mourns for the damage I have allowed to take place in this mind, which you made only to glorify and give you praise. What happened to that pure-hearted kid that only desired the things of you? I know he can be me again. It's not this bourbon that causes trace elements of beastliness, but the war raging on between my spirit and my flesh. I need a little time focusing on the captain of my soul ships, keeping me from capsizing. Not just loving you in the form of lip service, but life service. It's hard to remove me from those old mental mindscapes like cancer of the cervix. You don't deserve this callousness that crept up inside of me ever so suddenly. I started out repping your light strong. I didn't get so covered in this swarming pongy stench created by those tribes of enemy warriors, worrying my way into the grave, hurrying me towards that which made you feel like heathen, causing me to drift towards denial of all the values I stood for and everything I believe in. I know you will gladly receive me in the land of grace, even though I've disgraced and debased myself. Still I am never beyond your reach, nor are my ears forever glued shut to your instruction. Use the suction of your truth to pull out the lies from inside of me. Those I have taken on as my identity, those I have allowed to seize hold and take over me. You keep my resolve to change from getting top of the game. You are an unstoppable force to be reckoned with. Your joy is my soul's best medicine. I will leave finding faults to the seismologists. When others try to size me up and wear me down, help me to turn the other cheek, respond in love and keep on pointing out the godly attributes you placed in them, those which they refuse to see within themselves. Or maybe they recognize them, but they have failed to give you credit for the presence of your nature in them. For your constant companionship, my friend who sticks closer than a brother when this world tries to bother me. You swatted away like an unwelcome gnat. I don't need whips, chains, and baseball bats for self-defense. All I need is your word. All that's required is a cross, never a switchblade on my old dross. You don't toss me away when you find rubbish in me. You extricate the trash and replace it with your treasure instead. Your bread of life feeds me and sustains me. You always remain with me. Though I am dogged by regret, you preserve my life. You save me from that cell block life. And beyond this existed the torture of Gehenna. I know the enemy is attacking me harder these days because you were using me. I won't let him start confusing me about who I am when I know I'm forever your child, Lord. Let me not act so pharisaic, letting trivial pursuits cause my prosaic route to plummet into the abyss. Your love is better than anything I could have wished, hoped, or imagined for. You know what is in store for me. So long as it's not the belly of the beast, I know it's all sweet. The worst possible thing that could happen to me would be spending forever away from your amazing presence. Nothing can separate us from your love. You napalm my old corrupt nature with the blood that dripped from your palms. Spreading out on that holy tree, you have made a way for me to dance like David did again, to be so completely absorbed by my love for you that nothing else matters in this world. I love it how you make me laugh. You caused joy to bubble up out of my soul, like a cauldron that's filled to the brim, spilling out the sides. Though I have been tried and the gavel has been slammed on the bench, though I have been summoned to appear before my critics, justly pointing out my error and judgment, still you never see me as misappropriating my claims to a lifestyle of holiness as if it belongs to in someone else's body, because you are meant to inhabit everybody. It's just that not all are willing to invite you in their hearts, but those that are have a hope that's secure in you, unable to be tampered with or trampled on by anybody. Let me not be plagued by the night terrors no longer. Let me be stronger in my faith and weaker in my doubt. Let the evil that bugs me shrivel up and die. I know it's losing its power over me. The deeper I get immersed in your love forever, I will praise you until the sun falls from the sky. I will love you as far as the east is from the west. That's how wide your affection stretches. Though I am such a poor and wretched soul, still I know you can heal me and bring me back into your sacred lamb's fold. Enfold your loving palms around me. Keep my heart safeguarded in your warm embrace. Let me never again chase after those things that cause my desire for the things of you to suffocate within my spirit. You are mighty to save and rescue me from all the depravity in my mind. You cause it to depart from me and change my thinking pattern. Peace out.